up, Taiwan? I'm Laurel Stewart with the news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Former Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen is in Lithuania, a country she helped strengthen ties with during her time in office. While there, Tsai toured Europe's largest vertical farm, a project built with help from Taiwanese engineers. She also praised Lithuania for its shared commitment to democracy. Back in 2021, Lithuania made headlines by opening the Taiwanese representative office in Vilnius, the first in Europe to use the name Taiwanese instead of Taipei. China, which claims Taiwan, strongly objected. In response, Beijing downgraded diplomatic ties and imposed trade restrictions on Vilnius. To find out more about Tsai's trip to Europe, Leslie Liao spoke with Lithuanian legislator Arūnas Valinskas.
Can you tell me if you know anything about, the planning behind this trip, or whether or not Lithuanian officials were involved?
Myself personally was not involved in the planning of this trip, but I'm glad nevertheless. And yes, there were indicators that this trip was somewhat in the works for a long time. And I mean, given the level of the officials that will be involved, it's no surprise.
Besides continuity in diplomatic relations between Taiwan and Lithuania, maybe under a new government, what else do you think this this trip means?
I'm glad what this trip and what this visit and what the people involved in this visit symbolizes is that the relationship, the establishment or the elevation, shall we say, of the relationship between Lithuania and Taiwan was not sort of a one-off fluke. It was not just a popular thing to do to sort of, offend China or whatever they might want us to believe. That it is a lasting thing that will have many interesting iterations, lasting, and it's based on things that are in development and will remain in development for the foreseeable future. That it's something that has a lot of content to it, and there are very high-ranking profile people, both in Lithuania and Taiwan, that are interested in maintaining this bond that we have and develop and strengthening it.
Our former president Tsai Ing-wen is going to meet with your former president Grybauskaitė. What can be said about the meeting of these two leaders?
One thing that I would like to underline is that the Grybauskaitė is likely one of the most well-respected ex-officials in Lithuania. So her participation in this visit certainly elevates it and signifies the importance that our politicians and people who actually pay attention to what's going around the world, how they approach it. Official meetings between our current government and visitors from Taiwan obviously are, shall we say, difficult. But given that, I believe the participation of such other high-ranking ex-politicians, such as the Grybauskaitė, is, in a way, the second best thing.
What can you tell me about Lithuania's stance on its ties with Taiwan?
After the change of government, just like about half a year ago, there were talks of needing to revisit our issues with China and our distancing with China, especially given our previous stances of Taiwan. We had several comments made by our president and so on and so forth. So there was always this talk of whether this pivot to Taiwan instead of China, shall we say, is the right thing to do. I treat them more or less as background noise, and I have no indications that I should do otherwise. And there's no serious movement, at least that I know of, and that at least that I've noticed, to actually implement serious change regarding our relationship with Taiwan.
That was Lithuanian legislator Arūnas Valinskas. Russian President Vladimir Putin is calling for direct talks with Ukraine, possibly as soon as this week, to try to end the war that's been raging since Russia invaded in 2022.
В этой связи, несмотря ни на что, предлагаем киевским властям возобновить переговоры, прерванные ими в конце 2022 года. Возобновить прямые переговоры, причем, подчеркну, без всяких предварительных условий.
He's proposing the talks take place in Istanbul on May 15th and says they should focus on reaching a lasting peace, addressing what he describes as the root causes of the conflict. He says Ukraine has not yet responded to the offer. Back in March, Ukraine agreed to a US proposal for an immediate 30-day ceasefire, but Moscow turned it down. Ukraine has repeatedly accused Russia of breaking several ceasefire agreements since the war began. Taiwan's Foreign Minister Lin Jialong has signed a new economic cooperation agreement with the US state of Texas during a visit there. The new deal aims to promote bilateral investments in areas such as artificial intelligence, while boosting Taiwan's role in so-called non-red supply chains for the US. Taiwan has already invested more than $10 billion in the state. Lin also proposed building a so-called Taiwan Tower in downtown Houston, which would house the local Taiwan Trade Office, though no official plans have been announced. Taiwan's longest religious pilgrimage, held in honor of the sea goddess Mazu, is winding down. This year, the event has drawn over 300,000 participants. To help pilgrims stay on track, a team of engineers has developed a dedicated app. Our reporter Sandy Chi has the story.
A grand journey to honor the sea goddess Mazu. This is the Baisatuan Mazu pilgrimage. Among all the pilgrimages in the country, this one stands out as the longest religious procession on foot, lasting for 10 days and covering around 400 kilometers. This year, it drew over 300,000 participants, the highest number of pilgrims in its history. What makes this pilgrimage unique is that it follows no fixed route.
因为我觉得这是台湾人的一种信仰，而且这边的信仰是没有一定的路线，所以每年都是依照妈祖的意思在进行绕境，好像就是跟着妈祖在走，然后你自己心灵也可以沉淀。
For participants to keep up with Mazu, a team of volunteer engineers created a GPS app to accurately track the deity's location.
那时候的网络环境啊，其实没有像现在很多直播。那其实大家都喜欢上网去看妈祖在哪，然后我去现场看。然后我记得当时候其实网络上有几个 GPS 有做，但很卡顿，所以我就觉得应该把 UI 做好，然后就是让使用者更好查询，而且我的本质上我会知道怎么样在大流量之下更顺畅。对，然后做着做着就做到现在这个规模。
Tracking Mazu isn't as easy as it may seem. It requires someone to stay close to the deity throughout the 10-day journey, as setting up a device on a sedan chair is not an option. In 2024 alone, the app was downloaded 880,000 times.
那我发现，真的有帮助到某些人。那被帮助到，你收到这些回馈，其实会很开心的。对，我觉得是一种成就感。
The app is free and only available for download a few days before the annual Baisatuan Mazu pilgrimage. With this year's event ending on Sunday, those who don't grab it now will have to wait until 2026. Jiansu, Xingling, Pichi Zhuang and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this baby bonobo making its debut at a zoo in Germany. I'm Laurel Stewart. Take care and see you next time.
This month on Game on Taiwan, smash into the action at the Taipei Badminton Open. Feel the heat of the local basketball finals as teams battle for glory. Cheer on Taiwan's athletes as they shine on the global stage. Catch the World Masters Games where legends are made. From local courts to international arenas, stay tuned for all the excitement on Game on Taiwan.